Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for my continued followers, I want to say thank you. I got another one coming out of Oklahoma and another case about a judge. This turned out to be a wacky situation. This just recently took place within the last 10 days. So this is an Oklahoma judge was scrutinized for texting during a murder trial, talked about her resignation for the first time on this past Friday. Judge Traci Soderstrom, the now former judge for Lincoln and Pottawatomie counties in Oklahoma, announced she would step down from her position just days before facing trial to be removed. She faced backlash for sending 500 text messages to a male bailiff during the murder trial of a 2-year-old boy last summer. Judge Soderstrom said a trial would prevent her from bringing to light misconduct allegations involving others in the judicial system. But prosecutors said the former judge was only shifting the blame. She said, "I text during a trial. It doesn't matter if it was a traffic case, a divorce case, or a first-degree murder case." Now, she's the judge presiding over this murder trial. And her texting and being distracted when we're dealing with the death of a 2-year-old and then the freedom of the person that's supposedly been charged and perpetrated this crime against a 2-year-old. Crimes against children are egregious. Crimes against women are egregious. Why would this young lady not have her full attention as the judge, the presiding judge, and is easily distracted, not receiving a text, but texting the bailiff? And guess what she was saying during when she was texting the bailiff? She said, so she didn't want to go to trial. She stepped down. She said the trial would prevent her from bringing to light misconduct allegations involving others in the judicial system. But prosecutors said the former judge was only shifting the blame. And that, of course, she said that she texted whether it was a traffic case, divorce case, or first-degree murder case. She said, "I text during a trial, and that was inappropriate," Judge Soderstrom said. In a teary response, the former district judge said she was regretful. When asked if her resignation was a sign of admitting guilt, she said she owns up to some of the allegations, but not all of them. "I didn't make up my mind. Even if I had, it would not have mattered because I was not the fact finder. The jury was the fact finder," Judge Soderstrom said. So she's saying that she could be distracted and not pay attention to the case because the 12 jurors are the ones that are supposed to pay attention and find that individual either guilty or not guilty. So I guess she won't strike down motions, or she doesn't do anything or rescind opinion-based or hearsay in the trial. She's just going to let whatever take place and let the jury be the judge and the jury. The content and insulation and the volume and length of those things, I am not agreeing to because it doesn't matter. She's saying that whether it's 500 texts, 2 texts, or 20 texts, her being distracted is not a big deal. Judge Soderstrom was caught on camera sending more than 500 text messages to her bailiff during a murder trial. Court documents accuse her of mocking the appearance of attorneys, jurors, and witnesses, along with calling witnesses liars and expressing bias. So she's giving long, detailed sentences and paragraphs of descriptive natures of the attorneys. She's mocking the jurors, and she's calling the witnesses liars. You talk about bias. Her trial was set for today, which is Monday, but Judge Soderstrom announced she would officially resign as of last Friday. As she resigned, she agreed to never seek a judicial position in Oklahoma again for her mistake. When asked why she decided to resign instead of facing trial, Judge Soderstrom said it would prevent her from revealing the misconducts of others in the judicial system. The misconduct of others while she is conducting misconduct during a murder trial of a 2-year-old boy. How callous and disrespectful could that be? She said, I would still be under the veil of silence. This information can't be brought forward or won't be brought forward unless someone is willing to stand up and bring it forward. She doesn't make an ounce of sense on what she's saying. After Soderstrom resigned, prosecutors said the former judge is now trying to change the narrative as if the evidence they had did not exist or speak for itself. Judge Soderstrom had only been serving as a judge for 1 year. Prosecutors said removing Soderstrom was the only possible outcome of the trial. Now, this should tell any of you all who are my listeners or who have had family members that have been charged with a crime. We're all human beings, and if you are consciously committing crimes, this gives you a clear indication when you go into that courtroom, you don't have any idea what is going to take place. The 12 personalities of those jurors, let alone what is in the head and the consciousness of this judge. Had she not been caught doing this kind of extemporaneous distractive behavior during a murder trial of a 2-year-old, do you know how many people she would have been sending to prison, not paying attention to the absolute accurate evidence of cases that were brought in front of her? You're talking about people's freedoms. You're talking about a murder trial where somebody could spend the rest of their life in prison. And you would want every I dotted and every T crossed, from the judge, the jury, the prosecutors, and the defense. It is ungodly amazing. So when we think that we're putting all our faith in these professionals, whether it's doctors, lawyers, or judges, just remember they're still human beings. And for this woman to be so easily distracted, and she'd only been a judge a year, so I'm assuming she's a young person, that she took a job that she was not maturely prepared for. And she was not understanding the severity and the seriousness of these cases that are being brought in front of her when you're dealing with people's freedom and their lives that are on the line just by a decision that's being made in the courtroom. And she is the presiding judge. She is looked upon as the ultimate leader. The lawyers are presenting the information to her and the jurors, and she took total advantage of it and was completely disrespectful to the judicial court, to the defendant, the 2-year-old boy that was murdered, and the individual being charged for the crime. That scenario is very scary and very dangerous to our freedoms. And I tell people all the time, you need to know the laws that are enacted in your city and your state, because they can affect you each and every day. And just because you're a judge does not mean you're mature and are following all the rules all the time. I told you, if you've been following me, I told you about a case with a judge, Lance Mason, out of Shaker Heights, Ohio, who was a judge for over 10 years, and he got divorced, and he ended up stabbing his ex-wife over 50 times in front of his 2 children, and is in jail for murder. So sometimes you can have lawyers who are here to defend the judicial shield, and sometimes they end up as inmates like anybody else. Before they got the degrees, they were human beings, and after they have the degrees and the law licenses, they're still human beings and make mistakes. But if you go back and look at my video on Judge Lance Mason, who was convicted for murdering his ex-wife, 51 years old. This was in Shaker Heights, Ohio. He killed his ex-wife in front of his own 2 children. And now you have a scenario in Oklahoma where this young lady is texting her bailiff over 500 times during a murder trial of a 2-year-old boy that was killed and murdered. She was not taking her job and her position very seriously. It was a disrespect to the family of the 2-year-old boy and the 2-year-old boy who died, and is disrespectful to the one who is up there being charged with the crime, because if he didn't do it, and he, in her callousness and not paying attention, and he gets convicted, then his or her freedom is taken away for the rest of their lives. So these are very serious positions, whether you're a cardiac surgeon, a neurosurgeon, a judge, an attorney. People are coming to you in a time of need, and you have their lives in your hand. And doing the right thing makes all the difference in the world. Tell me what you think of this case. They had her removed. The Oklahoma Supreme Court had her removed. She seemed to be a very immature person and easily distracted if she is texting someone over 500 times during a murder trial of a 2-year-old. This has been a Trevor Donald experience. Let's manifest our truth in the right, positive, righteous, and God-fearing way. See you next time.